In the heart of West Africa, where golden savannas meet ancient traditions, a quiet nation has done something extraordinary, something bold, something historic. Burkina Faso, a country often spoken of for its struggles, has stepped into the space age, and the world is watching with astonishment. This is not just the launch of a satellite. This is a turning point, a moment that will echo for generations. A moment led by a new spirit of leadership and the courage of young minds who dared to dream. Today, we explore the story behind this miracle, the story of innovation, ambition, unity, and national pride. The story of how Ibrahim Traoré's vision changed the destiny of Burkina Faso forever. Welcome to the Space Revolution. Chapter 1. Before the Dawn. Narrator. To understand the significance of this achievement, we must travel back to a time before the satellite existed, before the laboratories, before the ignition, before the world turned its gaze toward Burkina Faso. For decades, the nation battled unpredictable climate, harsh droughts, and agricultural setbacks. Farmers relied on hope more than data. The weather could shift overnight, and thousands of crops could disappear in a single disaster. Burkina Faso needed technology. It needed accuracy. It needed a new path, something more powerful than guesswork and outdated systems. But above all, it needed a dream. And that dream was born inside small university classrooms, inside community halls, inside the minds of brilliant, determined young men and women who believed their country deserved more. They believed it was time for change. Chapter 2. The Lab of Dreamers. Narrator. In a quiet corner of Ouagadougou, inside a modest facility with flickering lights and old equipment, a small group of scientists and engineering students gathered night after night. The world didn't know their names. They didn't have international funding. They didn't have advanced machines. But they had something far more powerful, a shared mission. Their hands worked through tiredness, building circuit boards, soldering wires, testing components again and again until failure finally turned into breakthrough. And slowly, carefully, piece by piece, a small metallic satellite began to take shape. It wasn't large, it wasn't shiny, but it carried the hopes of millions. One of the engineers later said, "We didn't build a satellite, we built a future." Every night before leaving, they touched the metal casing and whispered, "One day, you will rise above this sky and show the world who we are." Chapter 3. The President Who Believed. Narrator. But even the greatest dreams need support. They need leadership. They need someone who sees beyond the present. When Ibrahim Traoré heard about the project, he didn't hesitate. He didn't question the youth. He didn't doubt the possibility. Instead, he said, "Let them try. Let them build. Let them rise." Traoré understood the deeper meaning of this mission. A satellite wasn't just technology. It was identity. It was dignity. It was proof that Burkina Faso could stand proudly on the world stage. He opened doors, provided resources, and empowered the team with full national support. For the first time in decades, the youth felt the government standing behind them, pushing them forward, trusting them completely. This support transformed the mission from a student project into a national revolution. By Chapter 4. A Nation Prepares for History. Narrator. Months passed. The satellite was tested, calibrated, improved, and prepared for space. Soon the news spread across the country. Burkina Faso was ready to launch its first satellite. Excitement swept through cities and villages alike. Schools began teaching space science lessons. Universities formed space clubs. Children drew rockets in their notebooks. People prayed for success. Nothing like this had ever happened before. International experts doubted it. Foreign media barely mentioned it. But the people of Burkina Faso believed with all their hearts. Chapter 5. Launch Day. Narrator. Then, the day arrived. The morning sky was calm. The air felt different, as if holding the weight of an entire nation's dreams. Crowds gathered around screens, villagers stood in open fields, children sat cross-legged in schoolrooms, elders recited prayers, families held each other tightly. Everyone was waiting for one moment. Inside the control center, the young engineers stood in silence, their hands shaking, their eyes fixed on the rocket. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Narrator. In those seconds, the country stopped breathing. 5, 4, 3. A lifetime of hope condensed into a heartbeat. 2, 1. Ignition. A bright flame erupted. A roar thundered across the sky. The rocket soared upward, trailing fire, smoke, and history behind it. Burkina Faso had entered the space age. People screamed in joy. Some fell to their knees. Some cried openly. Others simply stared at the sky, unable to believe what they were witnessing. Chapter 6. The first signal from space. Narrator. Minutes later, the control room went silent again. The satellite had separated. Now they waited for a signal, a single electronic heartbeat that would confirm success. Seconds felt like hours. Breaths trembled. Hands sweat. And then, suddenly, beep. A clear, sharp signal echoed through the speakers. The satellite was alive. It was in orbit. It had survived. The room exploded with cheers. Engineers hugged each other. Some cried uncontrollably. Years of sacrifice, sleepless nights, and relentless effort had finally paid off. Chapter 7. What the satellite will do. Narrator. This satellite is far more than a symbol. It is a tool that will reshape daily life in Burkina Faso. Here's what it will do. Predict droughts before they happen. Guide farmers on planting and harvesting. Monitor rainfall and climate changes. Improve weather forecasting. Strengthen environmental protection. Support disaster response. Boost agricultural productivity. Position Burkina Faso for future space missions. For a country where agriculture is the backbone of survival, this satellite is nothing short of revolutionary. Chapter 8. The impact on the people. Narrator. Across the nation, a new feeling spread. A feeling of confidence. Young students saw a future in science. Teachers encouraged space education. Parents told their children, "You can become engineers too." Universities launched aerospace programs. Communities discussed new possibilities. The satellite didn't just rise into the atmosphere. It lifted the spirit of an entire nation. Burkina Faso had proved something powerful. When a nation believes in its people achieve the impossible. Chapter 9. The world reacts. Narrator. The global reaction was swift. Countries across Africa congratulated Burkina Faso. News channels around the world reported the achievement. Experts expressed surprise, some even disbelief. But the message had already been sent. Burkina Faso was no longer a silent nation. It was a rising technological force, a symbol of African ambition, a model for all developing countries. Chapter 10. The Future of the Space Revolution. Narrator. The first satellite was just the beginning. Plans are already underway for more satellites, national space training centers, partnerships with African universities, a new generation of scientists, space-based climate and security systems, possible future rocket development. The dream is growing. The mission is expanding. The revolution is accelerating. Burkina Faso is no longer landlocked. From this moment on, it is sky-locked, star-linked, future-bound. Ending. A new era begins. Narrator. History will remember this moment. The moment when a nation, underestimated for decades, rose beyond every limit. Burkina Faso has proven that greatness does not come from wealth, nor from size, nor from power. Greatness comes from courage, from vision, from unity, from the belief that the sky belongs to everyone. This is not just a satellite, this is a declaration. Burkina Faso has taken its place among the stars, and this is only the beginning. End. Music fades.